Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
What the hell was that? Seriously. What was that hockey game that we watched? Or at least that some of us watched. I think a lot of Jets fans might have tuned out of this particular game tonight. But anyways, welcome to Game Over Winnipeg's post-game show of tonight's atrocious game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Anaheim Ducks. My name is Ty Dilello, and I'm the host here at Game Over Winnipeg. The Jets fell 3-2 to Anaheim tonight. As if you watched the game, if you saw, the Jets did not start playing hockey tonight. They didn't get to the rink until the third period. They just kind of had, I think, you know how we have like Timbits skaters, hockey games kind of, skate at like the second intermission, before the Zamboni comes out. That's what kind of happened tonight with the Jets. I guess the bus was late getting, in from San Jose the night before, so they had some Jets Timbits players go in and play. Except for Eric Comrie, as Eric Comrie was splendid the first 2 periods of play, but the Jets couldn't, produce any offense, any resemblance of a, elite Stanley Cup contending potential team. Tonight, obviously the third period, went a little bit better for the Jets until it didn't. So to give a quick recap of the scoring, it was 0-0 after 1. We were getting outshot, I believe, 12-4. After 1, the Ducks got on the board with Frank Vatrano scoring 4 minutes into the second period to make it 1-0. About 5 minutes later, Gabriel Velarde scored his 14th goal of the year for the Jets to make it 1-1. That goal was assisted by Nikolai Ehlers and Kyle Connor. I must say that it was awesome to have Nikolai Ehlers back, in a word. He was gravely missed. So he had an assist on the Velarde goal. After 2 periods, the Jets were getting outshot 22-8. And as I kind of predicted, as I mentioned on Blue Sky, I said that the Jets were kind of going to pull out their snake charmer offense crap that they like to do in the third period and kind of get the offense going that way, and they seemingly did. Mark Scheifele scored to put Winnipeg up 2-1, and they had a flurry of chances after that, and they couldn't get that next the go-ahead goal to kind of put the Ducks away and make it 3-1. Niederreiter had a chance in tight. They had a power play or 2 in the third period that they couldn't capitalize on that could have put the game away. So they definitely got their chances in the end. I said that the shots were 22-8 after 2, and they ended up being like 30-21 by the end of the night. So the Jets kind of caught up a little bit in that department. Until the game turned on I wouldn't even say turned on a dime, but Frank Vatrano scored his second of the night with 5 minutes left in the game. It was a tip in front of the net, seemingly harmless play until the puck went in. So it was 2-2. Jets get a power play with 3 minutes left. It's like, okay, here it comes. Here comes the Jets' goal, the dagger for Anaheim. And then all of a sudden the Jets forgot how to play offense again. They didn't muster anything on the power play aside from one Kyle Connor shot that Ducks goalie Lucas Dostal easily stopped. So Ducks killed the penalty off, and it's like, okay, I'm like, okay, just get it to fucking overtime, get a point, whatever. If we win, I don't really give a shit anymore. But no, 30 seconds left. Neil Pionk, very bad pizza and throws up a bad pass in front of the net, an awkward play, and Troy Terry is there to, basically put the puck backhanded into an empty net. Comrie had reacted early on the play. So the Ducks are the ones that score the late dagger for the Jets, and win 3-2. Eric Comrie made 28 saves on the night. I thought he played well, played admirably. The Jets did not play good in front of him. It really felt like the Jets were actually going to steal that game, for most of the third period until it went south at the end. But the Jets certainly didn't deserve to win that hockey game for going off the whole 60 minutes. For 50 of the 60 minutes, I would say Anaheim was the much better team, and the Jets kind of just sleepwalked their way, into the game. Kind of let the Moms down quite a bit, I would say. This was the tail end of the Moms trip, so I think the Jets will probably maybe have one more day in California tomorrow and then head home. I know they got 2 days off, Thursday and Friday, before they play Minnesota on Saturday. And the Jets are going to have to be a lot better to play Minnesota, I would say. So before we go any further, let's do an ad read, and then I'll go to the chat. I think there's a message or two there. Check out Hyperdrive Hockey. So Hyperdrive Hockey is the flagship show of the Game Over Network on the Game Over Network page here. Hyperdrive Hockey, all things hockey across various leagues in multiple countries, whatever it is and wherever it is. Max, Daphne, and Kev have you covered for all of your hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts on the Hyperdrive Hockey page, or at the GameOverNetwork.com. Yes. In the chat, Pelly Lindbergh stopping by. Pelly Lindbergh says Fleury and Pionk need to stop playing together. Nice pass, Pionk. And then he also says, when will this team make any changes when things aren't going well? Yes, Fleury and Pionk are obviously, Pelly, they're obviously not a top four pairing in the NHL. Maybe for a team like the Montreal Canadiens, it would be adequate. But for the Winnipeg Jets, for a team that's considered to be a top 5, top 10 team in the league, it's just not a pairing that you're going to win with. Hayden Fleury is a 6. I want to say he's a 7-8 defenseman at most, and he's having to play top 4 minutes, a top 4 role. And then Neil Pionk, because of the fact that he's playing with Fleury, Pionk has to be a lot more defensively responsible than usual than if he was playing with, his regular D partner Dylan Sandberg, who is injured until the new year. So it's just it's a bad mixed cocktail, and this is kind of the result of it tonight. In the last minute of the game. Fleury and Pionk are out there. A very bad pass by Pionk, a very bad, defensive mishap that winds up in the back of the Jets' net. Just like that, instead of, coming home with at least a point tonight for a very sloppy, bad game, the Jets go home with their tail between their legs, thanks to that pass by Neil Pionk. So, couldn't agree more, Pelly. Not the best showing from Fleury and Pionk. And as you said, when will this team make any changes when things aren't going well? I think that the Jets kind of historically have been very stubborn when it comes to making lineup changes, just changes to their lines. They really like to ride it out and give a pretty good leash to these lines before they go ahead and make any changes. I haven't even mentioned. I think we're 15 minutes into the show. I have not even mentioned Logan Stanley yet, who I I'll get to him. He fucking stinks, Logan Stanley. K says, tuned in just in time to hear the Habs catch strays. Wow. I only said that. To kind of lure you out in the weeds from watching to pop in the comments there, Kay. So I'm glad you took the bait there. Kay also says, if it makes you feel better, the Wild just got their asses kicked too. Yes. However, the Wild got their asses kicked by the Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champions, while the Jets choked, I would say, to the bottom-feeding Anaheim Ducks, and the Jets have looked bad against bottom-feeding teams such as the Montreal Canadiens, the San Jose Sharks, and now the Anaheim Ducks. Yeah, not a good performance from Winnipeg tonight. Very frustrating, I'm sure. I can't wait to listen to Coach Arneal's press conference after and hear what some of the players must have loved that one. All right, Logan Stanley. Let's just talk about this quickly. Why is he playing for the Jets? Aside from his height, I know he's 6'7". That's like a mandatory tweet you have to include whenever you say Logan Stanley. Why does he play hockey for the Winnipeg? Like, I know we traded up in the draft to get him. I know like he's played 150 games already, or close to 200 now. I know he hasn't done anything to warrant himself playing in an NHL top 6. I truly. Okay, and yeah, he also took another penalty tonight. He's usually good for one penalty a night, and luckily that one didn't end up in the back of our net, that PK. I truly think that if Logan Stanley was 6 feet tall, hell, 6'2", if Logan Stanley was 6'2", he wouldn't be in the NHL. And he might not even be in the AHL. I don't think I've ever seen a softer 6'7" defenseman play hockey. He can't shoot, he can't pass, he doesn't hit, and those are 3 big pieces of the puzzle right there for like an NHL defenseman, right? And then we make Ville Heinola play on his offhand. Like, Ville Heinola's a left-hand shot, and because he's paired with Logan Stanley, Logan has to play on the left because Logan Stanley, good at playing hockey. So Logan gets the left hand. Ville Heinola, who we're trying to see what we have in this young Finnish defenseman. Ville Heinola's been through the ringer of being up and down with the Moose and never kind of getting a runway of games in the NHL to see what we have in this kid. And I don't know. Do you know what we have in Ville Heinola? Because it's I see he's kind of paired with an anchor as his partner, and yeah, Ville Heinola makes a good first pass. He has some offensive capabilities, but we haven't been able to see any of that really at the NHL level. I think he's only had 1 or 2 good games out of the 8 that he's had this year. Because he's with just because he's paired with Logan every night, and he's on his offside. He obviously would rather be playing on his left-handed side of the ice. I don't want to... Anyways. I wanted to save some of it. I could have talked more about Logan Stanley last game, the San Jose game. I guess I'll leave it there. Let's do another ad read, because I'm just ticked off tonight. What was that? LaRouche. Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page, and we're also working on a page through LaRouche, which is a crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec. For LaRouche, we're aiming to raise $15,000, and if Game Over hits that goal, We'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people, provide more content, etc., etc. So if you, the fans, if you guys have any ideas for what you'd like to see as giveaways from these crowdfunding efforts, please let us know in the comments, on Twitter, Instagram, the Discord server, and Blue Sky, the new Twitter app that I still call it tweeting when I tweet from Blue Sky. A lot of the Game Over hosts, a lot of my colleagues have kind of migrated over from Twitter to Blue Sky. Yeah, it's good. I'm kind of chirping at the Jets a lot during the games. Yeah, it's a good time on Blue Sky. So if you're not over there yet, check it out. I'm always happy to talk hockey or whatever else. Yeah, Kay, I got a notification on my Blue Sky. Wrong link. Here's the correct one for anyone looking. Okay, so as if this night couldn't get any worse. We posted the wrong link, so people weren't able to tune in. Thanks a lot, Kay. That's only just to bait you out to see if you're still watching or not. I see that we have a couple people still with us watching the show. If you're in the chat, feel free to chime in and give some comments about what you thought about the game. I wanted to maybe be a little more positive for this next segment of the show here. What should we go to? Should we go to the fourth line? I was going to talk about the fourth line. We'll save that. I think that's going to be a very negative conversation. So, contract talk. At the end of this year, kind of a trio of the Jets, big players, Nikolai Ehlers, Gabriel Vilardi, and Neil Pionk's contracts are up. Gabe Vilardi is an RFA, while Neil Pionk and Nikolai Ehlers are both UFA. I guess, starting with, I'm going to get Neil Pionk out of the way after that shit tonight. I know I think the Jets management, the Jets brass, they're very keen on re-signing Neil Pionk. I believe they're making that their biggest priority, I guess, aside from trying to keep Ehlers. Yeah, I think Neil Pionk's making already $6 million a year. I know that he's had a better year this year for the most part, but for the 2 or 3 years before this, he has not been a $6 million player. He's definitely not in line for a raise. $6 million is a lot of money to be, tied up into, a defenseman that's not producing. As we saw with Nate Schmidt, these last couple of years in Winnipeg, he was making $6 million to be a 6'7", defenseman for the team. No, I do not think Neil Pionk is a 6'7" defenseman. But I think the number he's at is good if we re-sign him. I don't want him any more than 6.5. I would like to see him somewhere between $4 million to $5.5 million a year for maybe 2 to 3 years. Do I think that he'll get more money if he wants on the open market? Hell yeah. And if you want to go take that, please. I think there's better options out there for the Jets long term. I don't know if Neil Pionk's a defenseman that you can win with. I know the Jets are bleak at our defensive depth. Yeah, if he stays or goes, it's just not going to make a world of difference, I don't think, for this team. Moving on to Nikolai Ehlers, Kay says, how did Ehlers look? And we're on Ehlers now. Ehlers looked great tonight for missing 2.5 weeks out of the Jets lineup. He's just, obviously, Nikolai Ehlers' speed is very noticeable. How he drives his line, how he makes Vladimir Nemesnikov and Cole Perfetti look a lot better than they are. He's just such a dynamic hockey player. We saw that on his primary assist to Gabriel Velarde on the Jets' first goal tonight. We love Ehlers. He's kind of like our Patrick Laine. Jets fans are very protective of Ehlers. We're always we wanted him to have more of an opportunity on the Jets for years now. And it's great that he finally is playing power play 1. He's playing a lot 5-on-5. We just really want to keep him after this year. Kay says, good to have a status update for future Montreal Canadian Nick Ehlers. Winky face. Yes, Kay. Nick Ehlers is going to be a very sought-after player if he wants to hit the free agent market. But with that, I promise you that he will not sign with a bottom feeder like the Habs. No offense. Nikolai Ehlers, if he wants to take the money, he's going to go to a good team like Carolina, Colorado, a team that could use an actual top 6 winger to try to win a Stanley Cup. Nick Ehlers is probably pushing 30 now. He's not getting any younger. I'm sure most teams would want Nikolai Ehlers on their roster. I just don't see him going to Montreal by his own admission. I think I think the Jets are going to hold on to him regardless. I don't think they're going to trade him at the deadline, as some people are thinking, just because he's an expiring contract. I think they're going to play out the year with him, use him as a rental, I guess, if you will, and really push hard to re-sign him in the off season or let him walk. If they haven't engaged in contract talks yet, I don't know why the Jets haven't, unless Nick Ehlers' camp has made it clear that he's not re-signing with Winnipeg. If I was the Jets general manager, I would be reaching out to Ehlers' representation every single day. I'd be calling his agent at 2 o'clock in the morning and just saying, hey, what's up? Can we sign into an 8x8? What's it going to take? He's a fan favorite. He's beloved. And as for his contract, I think that he could make, pretty much, a contract either very similar or just under what Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuyck make. I think, what do they make? $8.5 million for 8 years. So 8x8 or something along those lines for Nick Ehlers. Where's the contract? Let me sign that. Will he sign that with the Jets? I guess let's see. Okay, I'll settle for the Avs. I wouldn't want him to stay in the same division as the Jets. It would hurt. It's kind of nice Laine's playing out in Montreal. Don't have to play against them too often. But, yeah, it would hurt a little bit if Ehlers went out west. And then Gabriel Velarde, the last one. Gabriel Velarde's the one who I think is the best, not the best chance, but who I think the most likely to sign long-term with the Jets after this year at this point. He's an RFA. Having a very good season. He had 3 assists last night. He had a goal tonight. Very quietly. He's kind of goes under the radar a bit in Winnipeg as that kind of third player on the Jets' top line with Connor and Scheifele. But Gabriel Velarde's up to 28 points in 34 games. He's finally having as a player who's been very, injury prone throughout his entire NHL career. Fingers crossed, he's staying, he's staying healthy. It'd be great if he played a full, 80, 82 game season to see, what he can produce. But he's very close to a point per game. I have no reason to believe that he won't keep that up for the rest of the year now. I think I wrote on Blue Sky, I tweeted about it yesterday. I think somewhere between $6.5 to $7.5 million over a 6-7 year contract, 8 year max contract. I could very well see happening. I could very well see the Jets wanting to get him locked up. I know the Jets had an opportunity to, re-sign Cole Perfetti long-term over the offseason, and they chose not to and to sign him to a bridge, which I thought was a smart move because Cole Perfetti's, I've gone on about Cole Perfetti. He's got the two worst traits NHL forward can have. He's slow and soft. Not good. So yeah, Velarde is just more of a dynamic player. He is a top 6 NHL winger. Lock him up. He's not even close to hitting his prime yet. Yeah, love Gabriel Velarde, fellow Italian. Big fan of Gabe Velarde. Have him on about four of my 6 fantasy leagues. Making my team look great the last week. A lot of points. And like these kind of wingers, like a Kyle Connor, very streaky. When they score, they kind of score in bunches, and then they go cold. They go cold for a stretch, and then pick it up from there. Yeah, let's do another ad read. Let's put the merch. Let's put the merch on the screen. If anyone is around, has any more comments, Kay, I know you're still watching. I'd love to hear anything else from you. But yeah, for now, we've got the merch here. What better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? Game Over's apparel line has now dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, which is currently on sale, want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our Live and Die by the Goalie design, or if you just need another coffee to get you through the winter, because we do have coffee mugs, we got you covered. Designed by Brady Chalice from Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code on the stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. So if you're watching, if you like kind of what you're seeing or what you're hearing from us, not just me, I know I'm great, but like the other Game Over shows, if you like what you're seeing, please support us. Just buy a hoodie, buy a shirt. Rep. It's another way to rep your Canadian NHL team. A different kind of apparel. Christmas is it's now 6 days away. Make a great Christmas gift. Though I don't know if it'll get to you in time. With the Canada Post strike just ending and the backlog that they got. Yeah, maybe we can ship UPS, FedEx. I don't know. I'm rambling way too long about the silly merch. Me again. Is there anything in the chat? If you're out there, please. This is the overtime period where I answer any questions or just talk or just yeah. I will say the Jets are back in action on Saturday night, so they have a nice little 2-day break to kind of mull over. Hopefully they look at some tape and deep dive what the hell just happened tonight. And it doesn't get easier. We go from playing 3 of the worst teams in the league to now we go up against the other top team in the league this year, the Minnesota Wild. So that game is 6 o'clock on Saturday night back in Winnipeg. Nice kind of hockey night in Canada game. As we welcome Kirill Kaprizov to town. The NHL's best player, I'd say, this season. Most dynamic for sure. Not going to be an easy one. Not going to be an easy one for the Jets. I knew Kay was still watching. Thank you. I'm glad we have some comments. Kay says, how do you feel about Comrie? I don't like seeing star goalies get overworked. And how do you feel about that workload for Hellebuck? Great questions, Kay. I wasn't a big Comrie fan at the beginning of the year. He hadn't had a good couple of years in Buffalo. He wasn't he wasn't putting up NHL numbers really the last few years. So I actually thought the Jets were going to keep Kaapo Kähkönen as the backup goaltender when training camp ended. But because of Comrie's relationship with Hellebuck, they were friends. Like, they had previously served as a goalie tandem together. I thought that kind of won out more than anything else, just the chemistry that they had. And to Comrie's credit, he's taken the role that he has in stride. He is playing quite regularly, once a week, once every 10 days. Hellebuck, I think a lot of people have talked about him. He's maybe played a little bit too much in years past, and maybe is burnt out in the playoffs, yada yada yada. I think that if Hellebuck can get 55 to 60 starts on the year, I think that's fine. I think Comrie can, manage the rest. I think Comrie can get that 20 to 25 starts a year, just the way the schedule is. I think that he's already on pace to do that as of now. And tonight, for example, Eric Comrie was not not the reason that the Jets lost. Comrie played fine. The Jets didn't really play too well in front of him. Kay is obviously speaking from the POV of having seen Carey Price never having a good backup. So, yeah, there you go. Obviously, Montreal, the Canadiens had to ride Carey Price. A lot of the time, the Jets have been pretty fortunate to have some good backups. Comrie's played well. We had the best backup, in the league last year, Laurent Brossoit. He was excellent. Put up, even better numbers than Hellebuck in his starts. Dave Riddick played all right for the Jets when he was a backup. It's just Winnipeg's always kind of been a good spot for backup goalies. Like, we have a good goalie coach in Wade Flaherty, who works with the goalies, and it's usually a good place if you're a goaltender coming off a bad year. Come to Winnipeg, be a backup, play 20 games, and you'll probably put up like a .915 save percentage at least. And you'll be able to sign for more money somewhere else in the off season, as a couple goaltenders have done before. So it's a very goalie friendly place here in Winnipeg, as long as you're okay, only playing that 20 games, 25 games a year. And it's Hellebuck's net, knock on wood, he's stayed very injury free for much of his career. So hopefully Hellebuck continues with that. Okay, thank you for being in the chat and having it so I'm not talking solely to myself here. Play your cards right, and maybe I'll even join you on Friday night for your game. I saw that you had reached out looking for someone to talk Montreal. Maybe we could talk about Mark Scheifele and Jake Evans. That might be fun. Yeah, if there's no other questions here in the chat, I think we're going to wrap things up. We've talked long enough. I will say I'm less annoyed talking to myself for half an hour about the loss than I was when I started, so maybe this was some catharsis. Whatever. Anyways, we will be back here Saturday night. Hockey Night in Canada, 6 o'clock start against the Minnesota Wild. It's a home game. So I guess I'll be here at around 8:45. That's local. That's Central Standard Time. So for myself, Ty Dilello here at the Game Over Winnipeg YouTube page. Thank you for watching or listening, wherever you get this. Have a great night. Have a great day. Great Thursday tomorrow. Today. Yeah, hope it's just fantastic. So take care, everybody. Have a good one.